Let's just go and have a look at Tesla, which is up here. There we go. Just drop that out of the way. And on the Tesla charts, I've got 6 time frames, which is Anna mentioned using 2 or 3. I tend to have 6, which may be too much for you. Don't stress about it. It's not a major issue. It's just something I prefer to have because you get a lot more detail on what is going on. And what you will find is that when you're at the coalface, and I'm not suggesting you go down to 15 seconds, it's one I use a lot, but it's not everyone's cup of tea, and it may be far too fast for you if you're just getting started. I certainly wouldn't recommend it. What I would recommend it for is for reading volume, because it's a great way of honing your skills, reading price analysis very quickly, interpreting single bars, single volume, and then really wrapping it all together with multiples into a story, and you will then see the complete picture as it unfolds, and clearly you're going to be looking at it across multiple timeframes as well. But this is basically what's been going on with Tesla. Just open the 10-minute, all pretty much the same. And again, I've got 2 indicators on here. I've got the accumulation distribution, and I've got the volume point of control. So these levels here, this is a strong level of support and resistance. These thicker levels, these thinner levels, much the same. Weaker levels of support and resistance. And then I've got our VPOC, and our VPOC on this occasion is actually in purple, just a different color, but the principles are exactly the same. You can see where we get down to lower, what I was mentioning just now, where we get down to lower regions of volume, how the price moves through there pretty swiftly, and that is what you expect to see all the time. But this is pretty much what we've seen ongoing today, and of course it's now 1 minute to 9, and there will be a major explosion of volume in terms of Tesla. So the question, I guess, is, would you trade Tesla on the day that an earnings announcement is coming up? And the answer is yes, of course. Why not? You had a long-legged doge to start with. We always get volatility at the start of the trading session as part and parcel. The question is, as I mentioned earlier on, is how close to the close do you want to go? And that's a difficult question to answer. I can't answer it because I would probably go closer than you would. But I would suggest as a sort of rule of thumb, when you've got such a big earnings announcement, you really don't want to be anywhere closer than 90 minutes out before you decide whether you're going to close out your position and take your profit or take your loss, whichever way it is. So from an intraday perspective, absolutely great day for trading Tesla. Tesla will generally always deliver something or the other in terms of trend. It's rare that you see it go sideways during the day. It happens, but then all stocks do that from time to time. But it's certainly been an interesting day, certainly a very positive day for short sellers. And of course, the same would apply whether you're trading it on the stock itself or whether you're trading it in terms of the option. Clearly, you are looking at the charts at the same time. And it's interesting, going back 15 or 20 years, we used to struggle with the idea because we didn't understand why option traders didn't look at charts, because generally speaking, they didn't in those days. And that has completely changed. It may sound odd to hear me saying it, but that is a fact of life. That, as I say, 15, 20 years ago, options traders just studied options in all the various facets of the Greeks and everything else. They didn't really look at the chart, which you may find hard to believe, but it's a fact. Now, of course, everyone talks about options in terms of the volume, the chart, volume price analysis. We look at volume price, and indeed you can apply volume price analysis to option prices themselves because they're available. If you have a brokerage like Interactive, and I'm not recommending it as such, but it's one of the biggest, obviously, it's one we run, you will have a huge array of tools in the volatility lab. I'm not going to describe them here, but they are just everything you can think of to do with analyzing options in terms of looking at options volume. You can have volume on options prices. All these sorts of things suddenly become available. And it really does describe the importance of options now in the stock trading and investing world. This is really just going sideways now for the time being and waiting for the news announcement, clearly. But it's been a great day of trading. I'm just looking for any sort of quick VPA lessons here that I can pick up on. Let's just pop up in the 10-minute. There we go. Where are we? Let's have a look. Yeah, I guess it's you're always looking for the one thing I would say if you miss, say you miss this first part of the price waterfall, you were away or out or whatever it may be, and you come back in and you see Tesla going sideways, you think, okay, well, is it going to reverse? Doesn't really look like it because you're not seeing any buying down here. You're still seeing selling into weakness. You've got a nice little up thrust there. You've got another nice little up thrust here. So these are not signs of strength. They are much more signs of weakness. You've got a doji. We've got a attempt to rally. Then you've got another one of these. And then on down we go to the next level. And then we break below that. The one thing I would suggest you do is when you get into the congestion phase, just set some levels. You can see on here, it's probably a little bit faint for you, but I can assure you it's there. This is on the accumulation distribution indicator. It's this blue line here, which basically presents these levels graphically for you in terms of strength. So the wider the line, then the stronger that level. And clearly at that point, there was support from a price perspective coming into play. Below it, you've got a low volume node, which would have been very positive to see because, as I mentioned earlier, you would expect to see the price slice through that like a knife through butter, which it does. So when you get into a congestion phase like this and you've missed maybe part of a trend, but you expect the trend to continue, what you have to do is set a level that you are comfortable with, at which point when the price breaks that level, you are prepared to jump in. And the very positive aspect of jumping into a trend as it continues and breaks away from a congestion phase, and indeed any congestion phase, is that you then have that price protection. You've got that natural barrier above you if you're in a downtrend or below you in an uptrend, should the price reverse against you. It also gives you a great place to place a stop loss. So in this example, just in this very simple example, if we said our blue line is our support platform, and that's the point at which we're going to look as a potential, sorry, I didn't mean to click that, a potential breakthrough that level is our entry point, if you will, then where would we set our stop? Well, our stop would be set probably above here somewhere. And provided that level doesn't breach your money management rules, your risk and money management rules, absolutely fine. Because what the congestion phase gives you is very clear definition of where to place the stop, and equally the definition of where you consider your floor of potential support to be. And once broken, excuse me a moment, I'm just going to pause for. Sorry about that. I had to take a drink. So these are very simple mechanisms that you can bring into play. If you're trading out of congestion, then you really only need to have one thing, and that's patience. Now, on a 1 minute time frame, you probably don't need a great deal of patience because it's not likely to stay there for longer than 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe. But if you're looking at it on a 5, 10, or 15 minute, it could be there for a few hours or even a few days. You don't know. But the beauty of trading out of a congestion phase is precisely that. It sets levels for you. It gives you very clear definition on what level you're comfortable in terms of getting in. And it also gives you a very clear definition of where to set your stop loss and a very clear area to set it at. So that's what's been going on in Tesla today, and we will rate the results, and you will be able to find in any of the major options providers, they will give you an idea of how far Tesla is likely to move. They won't tell you, of course, which direction it's going to move in. That would be a manna from heaven. but they will tell you approximately how far they expect the price action to move, either up or down. And of course, if you're trading options, you can set up some sophisticated strategies. You can do straddles, you can do butterflies, you can do all sorts of things in the options market to take advantage of incoming volatility, which certainly will be the case. But bear in mind that a lot of that volatility is already written into the options price. It's not as simple as saying, oh, I know there's an earnings announcement coming up, so I'll wait till the last minute before I put my strategy in place. It doesn't quite work like that, because if it did, everybody would do it. And it's more difficult than that. You have to plan this in advance, some time in advance, and get in earlier. Let's just go and have a look at one or two other things. Let's move away from Ninja over onto TradingView. I've got this one set up. I had this set up for a reason, really just to, going back to relational analysis, I was talking earlier about gold and commodities relation to the dollar. In the center here, we've got the CSI, which I'm sure you're familiar with, the currency strength indicator. The dollar here is shown in red, 5-minute time frame, all the other currencies down here, lots of opportunities there. On the left-hand side, really to reinforce the fact that you don't necessarily need a currency strength indicator, because you can do it with, this is an ETF, this is the dollar index bullish fund ETF. It's pretty much reflecting what is going on here, as you would expect. And over on the right-hand side here, I've got gold. This is very much an intraday perspective. This would be day trading futures, intraday day trading futures. And this is on the market strength indicator, which is one of the new indicators. We've launched it on TradingView. We will be launching it on NinjaTrader in the next few days, probably early part of next week. So if you're on the Ninja platform and you have the full package, you will get this indicator along with the other two, which I'll touch on briefly as well, which are the VRSI and the VWAP. But this is the market strength indicator. I've just got it on gold here, but you can add 5 or 6 different instruments, and you can look at relationships there. You can look at divergence. You can look at strength. So you might have the indices on here to see if they're all going up or down together. You can cut and slice and dice it in any which way you like. You've got stocks. It doesn't matter. It's instrument. What's the word? Can't think of the word. You can put any instrument on here you like, basically. And this is just gold. And you can see the inverse relationship there with the dollar, which is very clear to see. And it's a great tool for scalping. And if you're like me on a currency strength indicator, I am constantly looking down at the bottom, or I'm looking up at the top, because I am looking for overbought and oversold. And this delivers the same sort of principle where I would be looking for overbought or oversold conditions intraday, where I can take advantage. And of course, all of that is, it's not simply looking at an indicator in isolation. First, I'll be looking at it in multiple timeframes, but secondly, and far more importantly, I'll be looking at it on the charts in the context of what is going on in terms of volume and our volume price analysis methodology. The two just marry together. Volume price analysis underpins everything. The indicators are there to give you additional information, to give you confidence, to give you help, assistance, whatever, however you like to frame it. If you think of riding a bicycle, when you first started, you had little wheels on the back wheel to stabilize you whilst you got up and running. We all started that way. And eventually you learn to ride a bike without them, and you do away with them. I'm not saying you do away with the indicators. I'm just saying the indicators are there to really give you confidence. It's like the trend monitor. The trend monitor gives you massive confidence to hold a trade. We get constant emails from people who are looking for indicators to help in the trade. The VRSI, which I'll show you in a moment, is another of those classic indicators designed to give you the confidence to hold a position once you've got a position in the market. I think it's on this slide, on the next one. There we go. Here we are. This is the VRSI, and this is on, we're back to SPY. This is SPY across a whole range of time frames from 1 minute top left, 1, 3, 5, 10 on the top line, and we've got 15, 30, 1 day, and 1 week. So a real smorgasbord of time frames there. So enough to satisfy everybody. Can I also say that we do often receive emails and also comments occasionally saying, will you only ever focus on the faster time frames in your webinars? That is largely true. The reason is that it's nothing to do with the fact that we ourselves trade intraday forever and nothing else, nor has it anything to do with the fact that we believe intraday trading is the be-all and end-all. It's purely the fact that when you are in one of these sessions, there is more to see, the price action is moving, and therefore there is a great deal more to talk about. It would be very easy to talk about daily, weekly, monthly charts, but then we would get criticized for talking in retrospect. So we can't win either way. To make the point, I've got a load of positions on yen. The reason I've got yen positions is because on the CSI monthly, the yen is very heavily oversold. And when you look at the charts as well, they are looking very toppy in terms of the yen pairs, in terms of the yen complex. Therefore, it's looking like a possible reversal to the downside, short, in other words. So pound yen, euro yen, Aussie yen, New Zealand yen. I can't remember what I've got on there. I'm also, by the way, for those of you who came along to the Forex webinars we ran last year, a lot of them, we had a little micro account and we built that up from, I think it was about $700 or $800. We built it up to well over, I think it got to about 3,500 at the end of the piece. We did that over about 15 months, only trading 1 or 2 micro lots maximum, nothing else, nothing scary. We weren't, leveraged, and we weren't trading ridiculous size. It was just to prove the point that you can make money with a small account as long as you do it sensibly and don't over leverage. I'm doing the same again. I've taken a load of cash out of that account and I've wound it back to, I think it's about $350. So that's our start point. And I'm just building it up very slowly. I've got a little basket on there just to show you that it's possible to do this with small amounts of money as long as you don't go mad. This is the VRSI. As I say, it's launched on TradingView, so you can find all the details. I've done a ton of videos that you'll find over on the Quantum site, so I'm not going to go through it all here. But it is a volume-based indicator. It looks at the relative volume, so it's very complementary to our volume price analysis methodology. It's looking at relative volume, and it is presenting that facet of volume analysis through the prism of these colored bars. We call it pressure. It is showing you the pressure associated with a trend move higher or trend move lower. And that pressure is described in the brighter colors or the darker colors where pressure is weakening. For example, up here on the 5-minute, you've got the SPY here moving lower. We move into congestion. It then picks up again. We had the pressure building here. It slackens off. It doesn't go through zero, the fulcrum, and go into bullish. And then we get this drop down, increasing pressure. And now we're starting to see that trend weaken and we're moving back into potentially bullish higher. That is how it works. So it's on TradingView. It's out. If you head over to Quantum Trading, go to the trading and go to Quantum Trading, go to the TradingView tab, search out the videos, and you'll find all the videos I've recorded there to explain it in much more detail. So that's the VRSI. And somewhere or the other, I think it was, I'm back on Ninja. So let's just drop that out of the way. I think I had it on Ninja here. I've got the VWAP, which Anna mentioned. There we go. This is the VWAP. And again, this is out on TradingView and will be out on NinjaTrader next week, fingers crossed. And once that's all done, then the stock trading and investing program will follow thereafter. So apologies, it's just taken us a lot longer than we anticipated to get everything together. But this is the VWAP, and the thing that, as Anna said, it is a hugely instrumental tool for day trading and also for investing in stocks. But if I click on the indicator and the VWAP itself, what you will see is that it is not just a single indicator, it's actually 5 indicators in one. We have the VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price, which you can see here. We have the center line, and then we have our envelopes, our upper envelope and a lower envelope below, which are set in terms of standard deviation, which you can adjust yourself. This is set to 1 as standard. We then have the MVWAP, which is the moving VWAP. The VWAP, if you're not familiar with it, resets at the start of every session. The moving VWAP will move through those sessions, so it's much more seamless. We have the anchored VWAP, which is the next one down, which is the AVWAP. And what that means is very much like Fibonacci, where you set your own levels. You can anchor the VWAP to a level which is significant. So maybe you've had a significant low or a significant high by virtue of fundamental news or a release or volume or whatever it may be. You decide where you want that pinpoint VWAP to start its calculation. So you have the option to anchor it at whatever point you want on the chart. So they are all volume-based. The TWAP is the only one that's not volume-based and looks at weighted average through the prism of time. And finally, we have the intraday VWAP, which looks at the VWAP through much slower time frames. So that's the daily, the weekly, and the monthly for investing. And again, with all of these new indicators, you will find a huge number of videos I've recorded. You'll find them on TradingView right now. And then there'll be a whole bunch more once we launch, which will come up on the NinjaTrader platform. So those are basically the 3 new indicators that we've been working on, which have taken a huge amount of effort in conjunction with the stock trading and investing program as well. So that's the market strength indicator, the VWAP indicator, and the volume relative strength indicator. So there we go. I'm just going to wrap up at that point, if I may. Just see if there are any questions on the chat. No, I think we're okay. So just to highlight all that for you, this is where you'll find all the indicators over at quantumtrading.com, MT45, NinjaTrader 7/8, TradingView, and TradeStation. Those new indicators are available, as I say, on TradingView. They will be on NinjaTrader next week. Also on NinjaTrader next week. Excuse me for one moment. Sorry about that, post-COVID. Also on NinjaTrader next week will be the Market Analyzer option. So that will be coming out as well. So that will allow you to load quantum indicators into the Market Analyzer, which is a great, great feature. So absolutely thrilled. Again, another ton of work involved in that. Thereafter, what we will be doing is working on TradeStation, so getting those indicators up and running on TradeStation, and we will get them onto MT45 as well. So if you're on any of these platforms, you will have them in due course. And of course, if you have the full package, you will get them free of charge. And as I say, if you head over to TradingView for the new indicators and go to the video section here, you will find all the videos I've recorded down there. So that's in a huge video library there. Finally, over to Andesite. This is where you'll find all the books that are hugely popular, very successful, very humbling, I have to say. The comments that we receive, continue to receive. Anna receives hundreds of emails a week. Literally, and she does try and answer them all personally, but I can assure you it's almost getting to a stage where she needs an assistant to help her with it. But it's hugely humbling, and we are just the one thing that gives us much greater pleasure than anything else is to see comments from traders who've been struggling, as I mentioned at the start, been struggling, they've come to volume, and for them it is the missing piece of the puzzle. It doesn't mean they have to change anything, because whatever they've been using up to now just slots in seamlessly. So if you've been trading whatever style of trading it is, you can bolt volume in underneath. You're not asked to do anything different. You don't have to invest in anything different. You don't have to change your trading style, because it applies universally from fastest to slowest time frame. It really doesn't make change anything at all. And those comments are hugely humbling, and they really do They are wonderful to see. So it's great to see. We see a lot of it on Twitter as well. If you follow Anna on Twitter, and she's got her Facebook pages down here and also the Twitter handle down there, you'll see all those comments going through as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this evening. Thank you so much for coming along. We do appreciate you coming along to these sessions. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've learned something new. We will be back next week, hopefully not so croaky. So really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the evening, wherever you are in the world. Enjoy the rest of the trading week, and we will see you back next week. So bye for now.